And welcome to the Pixelship podcast. I've been cheating on video games, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. My name is Neil LeBeau. I'm joined with Ryan Hayes
Hello.
and Ryan Blandy.
I'm all butthurt.
Joel will not be with us. He has very important dungeons to crawl and dragons to slay. So he will be elsewhere.
Have you guys ever played Dungeons and Dragons and actually fought a dragon? I think maybe twice I have legitimately come across a dragon in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. They are severely underrepresented in those games.
I agree. I don't think I've ever faced a dragon in Dungeons and Dragons. Nope. Definitely
Alright.
didn't. I feel like when you're young, like in your early campaigns, you're gonna fight dragons. But,
Just because it's whatever you're pulling out of the monster manual.
right, right.
I don't know, I feel like I just kill like orcs and spiders and weird monsters. Like no one's ever like, fucking dragon.
You know what? I
Because there's no lower level dragons.
right, yeah.
That's
You
a good
really
point.
got to level up your character if you're gonna try to take on dragons.
You gonna start a character at level 20? I don't think so.
What about like baby dragons? Like, can you kill baby dragons?
You mean like drakes?
Or
Guess
like-
what?
or
You
wyverns?
still need to be a good while long. You're just gonna start a campaign level 1 character? No way. You're not gonna fight drakes.
Man, this is getting you yelling, getting bothered about it. Crazy.
Crazy.
All right. Well,
Oops.
anyway, that's what Joel's doing. He's dungeoning and dragoning. We're going to talk a little bit about what we played this week, as always. So let's start with you, Mr. Hayes. What have you played this week, sir?
A little bit of, the normal stuff. I'm trying to catch up on my Wolf Among Us. The final episode is out. I just caught up on the second to last episode. Just a weird thing, like no spoilers or anything. The second to last episode, I don't know if you've ever played these Telltale games. They usually are like, hey, here's some, decisions you made, and here's kind of where everyone kind of ranked. 30% of the people decided to drown the baby or whatever it was. There was none in the second to last episode, and it was really weird. That being said, by the time I finished it, I really realized I didn't make any important decisions. So it was kind of a ramp up to the last episode. I'm really excited for the last episode. I'll probably play that tomorrow. But I'm really enjoying The Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
As per usual, you've been a huge fan of that game since the first time you played it, really.
Yeah,
I think.
it's very comic booky. I was never really into the series, the actual book series. I picked some up and they're pretty good. But it's just a cool universe. I really like the idea of fairy tale people in gritty, shitty New York. I just thought that was kind of a really fun place for an adventure game.
Definitely.
And Telltale's good at what they do. Other than that, I've been playing some more Castlevania, some more Dark Souls, and part of the PS4 PlayStation Plus offerings for this month. Been playing a lot of Strider. I actually really enjoyed that remake. I don't know what it cost when it came out. I don't know if it's really worth $15 because it's kind of basic. But
I'm not familiar with the game.
So Strider was an arcade game, and then it came out for the Sega Genesis and NES. The Sega one was like an 8 megabyte cartridge or whatever, and was like $9,000 when it was released for the Sega. It was like one of those carts that was more expensive because they had to cram more shit on the cart.
Right.
And you're this ninja kind of guy, and you run from left to right, and you tap the button as fast as you can, and it's this really cool, like, ninja fucking swipey sword swipe. And then you can kind of jump and climb on walls. It's, kind of in the vein of, like, a Ninja Gaiden kind of game.
Okay.
And then the one for the NES is really interesting, too, because it almost has, like, RPG aspects to it, like... you can kind of pick where you go, and you're looking for clues and key cards to unlock. I actually like the Nintendo one as a game more because it's more interesting. But the Sega one is also super fun. It's just kind of an arcade port, which is just kind of run forward and slash guys up. And the remake for the PS4 is kind of closer to that arcadey vein. It's much larger areas, obviously, and you can say this for a lot of games now, but kind of Metroidvania where you unlock abilities to open new areas. The map looks very Super Metroidy. But the combat's really fun. It's really quick. It's really responsive. And it's just a sweet little game. If it's on PlayStation, you don't have PlayStation Plus, or you can pick this thing up for like $10. I think it's a really good time. Yeah, it's just kind of an old school feeling game. The graphics are good. It's modern kind of 3D graphics. They're relatively detailed. The environments are pretty detailed. Shit going on in the background. But it plays like older games where it's just kind of quick and you're just kind of pounding on the button as fast as you can and just cut baddies up. It's not super deep, but yeah. Other than that, just kind of bouncing around with some other old stuff. Fired up Mario Kart 8 again, because that game's super fucking fun.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing.
Sweet, sweet. All right, and Mr. Blandy, what have you been playing?
Well, I finally got my stint in Broken Age complete. It definitely, I'd be ticked if I was a Kickstarter. Just because it ends, just ends.
They came out
And I'm
fairly.
like, whoa, first off, that was not a lot of time. And then second off, that you're gonna stop it on this note? Whoa.
Well, it's a cliffhanger. It's 2 parts. I mean, that's
cliffhanger.
been out there. But they were upfront with that. They were saying, like, look, we're developing this in 2 parts. And I'm reasonably certain that as a Kickstarter, I'm getting both parts. I don't think I have to purchase now
no,
the second
you don't.
part.
Yeah, no one has to. As long as you buy the game.
Yeah,
No one has
I actually kind of like it like that because I thought it was a decent length for what it was. I enjoyed kind of going around and clicking through everything, taking my time with the game. I kind of enjoyed the cliffhanger. But what did you think about it overall, like cliffhanger aside?
Oh, overall, good. I'd say not enough items that can't really do anything. I did like that you could lose the peach.
So there's
And
not
I did
enough
lose.
items that don't do anything?
I did lose the peach, and I had to go all the way back to go get the peach again. So that I did enjoy. Just everything had its place, and I understand that's very point and click, but I like it in a point and click where here's a weapon that does nothing. You're going to try and click it all over the place. You're not going to get anywhere. Oh, what fun.
Yeah, I don't know
that's just a
how many
taste.
games I can think of that had a lot of misleading items. There were always the occasional one, but most things could be used in one way or another. It might not have been necessary to solve a puzzle. There might have been multiple ways to solve a puzzle. But I don't think there were a lot of intentionally misleading games in the old LucasArts, or misleading items in the LucasArts games. At least not that I remember. I was relatively young when I played those games. So, did you spend any time kind of testing the dialogue trees or anything like that?
Most definitely. I clicked on everything.
I think one of my favorite parts of that game is when you're doing the space part and the computer's asking you what you want for breakfast, and there's like 30 goddamn breakfast cereals that it tries to give you, and you can just be like, no, I don't feel like that, and it comes up with another weird space breakfast cereal. That was one of my favorite parts.
Agreed. I also found it funny that Jack Black had like 3 lines of dialogue.
Yeah, I kind of expected more. That doesn't mean he couldn't necessarily come back in the next episode, but
Yeah. Then there was also maybe during editing you could put in a Broforce. Played some Broforce. It is fun.
It looks fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's got names like Snake Broskin, Bro in Black, Mr. Enderbro. So
So, how many characters are there? Because I've watched a lot of
there's a lot, and
videos.
you have to like every time you go and rescue a person, you get a life. So after so many rescues, you get different people.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I just unlocked the Boondock Bros, uh,
You
and
played
their secret
both?
power is you get the fat guy. I was hoping
Okay.
for Defoe, but
What fat guy? The fat detective.
no, in the Boondock Saints,
Yeah.
there's the bearded guy is their friend. That's crazy.
The Italian? He's not fat.
He's pretty fat.
He's not fat at all.
He's a tubby guy.
No, he is not.
Well then,
You
fuck
re-
you.
you realize that people that are going to listen to this have actually watched the Boondock Saints, right?
Yeah,
All right. Well, all right.
I remember him as a fat guy, and they killed his cat.
Yeah. Well, they didn't kill his cat. They killed his
He,
girlfriend's cat. But yeah,
yeah.
he's not fat at all.
All right.
All right. But we're splitting hairs.
It's a good time. It can get downright difficult. It started to. It was really easy, and then really difficult. But yeah, having the different characters, yeah, it's just just a fun time. I kept getting MacGyver, and I hate MacGyver. Uh, and all he does is bombs. He's a bomb character, and
I saw like you can get like Blade that's like melee. Is it all luck of the draw? Is there any way to kind of
it
goose the
is
system
luck
into
of the
giving you
draw.
guys?
I'm always excited when I get Big Willie style, because when I get Big Willie style, he's very powerful.
Is Big Willie style just Hancock?
No,
Men in Black.
his thing is Bro in Black, which
Oh,
is just Agent J from Men in Black,
And he has the
and he has the
cricket,
noisy
right?
cricket.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it seems like a really sharp game.
It
Is
does.
it
It
local
is.
multiplayer or online?
No, it does have online multiplayer.
Cool.
Up to how many players? 4?
Two.
I do believe 4.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought it was only 2-player.
It's multiplayer. Uh, I do,
Well,
I
it is
yeah,
online.
yeah.
Online co-op though.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Have you played anything else?
nope.
Sweet.
Other than Team
Oh,
Fortress.
shut up. I knew it was coming. All right. So there's some new
Hey man, they had a
some-
big update. Two
right.
new maps.
2 new maps. All right. Talk
Yeah.
about these new maps.
Oh, they suck.
Do they really?
There's crazy glitches that this fucker was going into the mountain, creating a sentry that he could shoot out. You couldn't shoot them. So I'm there, and it's right at spawn. So I'm just boop, boop, boop. I started dancing, country dancing, square dancing with people, because I couldn't play the damn game. So I'm just hanging out in here, fucking dancing around.
Was it a great big white bear? A white bear? Polar bear with a penguin?
It's a penguin and a polar bears.
I gotcha. All right. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you play anything? Or you said you didn't play video games.
I cheated on video games with another game. I
Board games?
I finally started writing a new Vampire the Masquerade campaign,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like 15 pages in. Like, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't stop.
So I
So-
didn't tell you I found a Vampire the Masquerade CD-ROM
Yeah.
at
Of what?
a thrift store, and I haven't put it in my computer yet. And I
Well,
don't
is it
know if
Redemption or Bloodlines?
It's not a game.
Yeah.
It-
It's probably character gen.
Okay. Yeah, I picked it up and I didn't look at it, but I knew you guys played it, so I wanted to pick it up, but I had no idea what it actually was.
Yeah. If I had to guess, it's for character generation. They have those for D&D. I remember the first D&D character I made. I went on a computer and did it that way.
Oh, the age of CD-ROM. So what's involved in making a vampire campaign? Is it pretty much the same as D&D? Is it more...
Yeah, it is. But with with D&D is a very hack and slash
Yeah.
role-playing game. It's combat-based, whereas
Well, you can
Vampire,
make it do whatever you want, but
you
yes, it is
you
intended
can,
to
but
go into a cave and slay some shit.
right at its core, it's combat-based. Vampire is very different because it's politics-based, so you really have to be there with your story. You can't really kill that much game time by combat. You can if you really want to, and it'll just be a terrible campaign. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of writing that goes into my campaigns. So yeah, I was pretty stoked. It's the 20-year anniversary, and I thought, geez, it's been 2 decades. I might as well make a frickin' campaign for this game.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Is that something you can play like through Skype? Is that something that's best, with people in a room? D&D has a lot of systems online where you can kind of, make boards and stuff like that. Is it?
Yeah, you can definitely do it on Skype. I'd have to look into it. But I believe tabletops are meant to be played on a tabletop.
Sure.
I guess I'm old
I mean,
school.
ideally, you always want to, but I didn't know, like, if it was something that's just unplayable unless everyone's in the room. Like, is it like subtleties? Like, is it a lot of bluffing?
It is, yeah, and like I said, it's a heavier role-playing game than Dungeons and Dragons, based on your role playing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, you have to be there with your subterfuge and your, you know, everything, your nuances. Uh, I I'm pretty excited about it. It's taken me a long time to actually get down to writing it because I know how much work has to go into it, and that scares me.
How many people generally play? Is it, as many as you can? Is it, small groups?
I'm trying to do 5. I think.
Okay.
Um, I know Ryan and Joel have been bugging me to play. And
Joel
then,
took all my books.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's creating a character.
For
Are they
what?
still making?
Yeah.
No,
Books?
we're using
Well,
old books.
Yeah, we're using second edition. Second edition was like 1996. So I mean, technically,
It's the
that's
best edition.
right. Well, it's my favorite edition. There are changes that they made later on that were good. That I try to integrate in, but second
Like
edition
the
for the most part.
inclusion of, the World of Darkness book being a core book, and then having all the other ones be supplemental stuff to that original core.
Yeah, I mean that, and I mean they changed Malkavians. They changed abilities, and they changed some other stuff that I do like the changes that I stay with. But anyway, what I plan on doing is making a Google Docs account, loading up a bunch of PDFs of the books, and then shipping that to the players, and then they can make player characters and send me back the Google Docs. I think it would be pretty easy to do.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that would probably be really easy.
Right. So that's what I've been doing. Not
All
video
right.
games. I did blow my wad on gaming a little bit the past 2 weeks. I don't know. I was really hammering it with the Steam sale and with all the new games. I don't know. I wanted to take a little bit of a break from.
Well, that's fair. See, I always find myself when I get burnt out on, computer games. That's when I fire up like my Sega or something like that. Like I try to bounce back and forth for that kind of thing.
Agreed.
Sure. All right. Well, that's gonna end what we played. So now we're gonna go into the news. I guess I'll start off with the biggest news story to hit.
Ever to man.
Yeah, ever to hit Sharks and NATO's Sharknato, the video game, will be coming out alongside with Sharknato 2, and it's going to be hitting Android and iOS handheld devices. So, what this means to me is, my dreams are all coming true. Is really what it means to me.
What do you mean your dreams are coming true?
I get another Sharknado. I get a Sharknado video game. These are both my dreams. I've had 2 dreams in the world, and they've just can't come true.
Has anything come out about the game itself, though, or is it just that it's
No,
going to be an
just that
Android game?
just that it's going to be there. You're fending off sharks with the help of chainsaws.
Okay.
in New York City.
I mean, what I heard of this game, I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Micah. He's been working on a game recently called iDarb, which is coming out for Xbox. And he's a very, very well-known figure kind of in the game development world. It's kind of a joke that he has worked on every video game ever. He's kind of famous for making a lot of ports to like Game Boy and stuff like that. Like he's touched a lot of code from older games and stuff like that. So he's got a great pedigree as far as a long development history. So the fact that he picked up this project in the middle of his new project that they're still kind of putting together, it's something I'm actually keeping an eye on too. Like I normally wouldn't give two fucks about a movie tie-in game for Android, but Mike Micah's name on the box makes me kind of sit up and pay attention.
Well, it's so ridiculous. It's amazing. It's one of those things that just hits that level it strikes a chord with a lot of people. So much so that the original Sharknado was riff tracks and simulcast, like they do with Night of the Living Dead and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They in over 100 theaters simulcast Sharknado with them riff tracking it. So I thought that was pretty cool too. About that.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next story. Are you guys familiar with Rooster Teeth?
Yeah, a long time ago they did the Red versus Blue, right?
They did Red versus Blue. Now they do YouTube. So they have their own channel, Rooster Teeth. They also have the Slow-Mo Guys, which if you've hung out at my house when we're drinking and we've YouTube stuff, you've seen the Slow-Mo Guys.
Have I really?
They just do stuff in slow motion, man. It's nothing,
Yeah.
it's nothing too major. It's
Okay.
But they play like this awe-inspiring music behind it. It's very cool. It is very, very cool. And they started the original Let's Play. They have that channel. So anyway, they've hooked up, the Rooster Teeth guys have hooked up with a 19-year-old video game prodigy. His name is Jordan Scott. I don't know if you're familiar with Jordan Scott.
Jordan Scott.
He released a playable demo for RWBY, Grim Eclipse. I don't know. I have not played it. I have not really checked it out. It's you can look into it. I'm more interested in Rooster Teeth doing something in video games again, where they're actually making content. Because I was a big fan of Red vs. Blue, to be honest. I thought
it was really funny back in the day. Like
absolutely.
That was the days of Halo 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was probably like 2001, 2002.
How'd they even fucking do that in Halo 1? How was that possible?
I don't know. They just,
That's impressive now that I think about it. Like, we're spoiled. Like, everything, like, our consoles can stream, and
Right.
we have these kind of, like, through boxes for, like, HDMI and all this other shit. Dude, back in the day at Xbox, none of that shit existed. That's fucking impressive.
and they put in a lot of work, like obviously from it, and their voiceover work is really good too.
Yeah.
For just a couple of guys hanging out, like I don't know, I
The
really
Angry
was
Sarge and all that.
right. I was always very impressed with them. I'm impressed with the Slow-Mo Guys. Rooster Teeth was on an episode of At Midnight too that I was just laughing the entire time at them. So yeah, they still got their shit. And I'm interested to see what they can come up with.
All right.
And lastly, this is a quick one from me. Sigourney Weaver is reprising the role of Ripley in Alien Isolation.
Man, I am trying not to get super excited for this game, but it's getting harder and harder.
It really is.
Well, also, it's only available to pre-orders.
What do you mean it's only available to pre-order?
You will not be able to play those story things unless you pre-order the game.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So guess what?
Pre-order anything?
You better fucking pre-order that game. Because it's at least at the start. I'm assuming that, they will probably have it for sale later on.
No, he's
But
right.
it's DLC.
But yes, it is DLC to the game. There's 2 missions in it. One is that you get to play any of 3 characters.
Well, the game, you're Ripley's daughter, aren't you? In like the actual game.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
talking just the DLC.
right. There's two. It's the crew expendable and lone
I
survivor
thought like
levels.
mom would give you a call and like check in to make sure everything's cool. Like, oh, that's
Well,
a bummer.
yeah. Well, I don't know. It's still cool. She's gonna be doing the voice. She's gonna be doing the role, reprising the role. Um, and she's too old to reprise it in any other way. So that is one cool thing about video games. You know, they're eternally young.
Yeah,
I mean, fucking Mark Hamill does a fucking fantastic job in his voiceover work for
And
video games.
and Michael J. Fox also does some pretty
yeah, he
good.
did a
God
very good job.
damn you, Neil Shaky Man.
Well, I'm just saying.
Michael J. Fox.
So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about
And then,
that
of
too. I'm
course, the
pumped about
Ghostbusters game was phenomenal.
right,
Yeah.
and I'm pumped about that video game in general. It really is scratching an itch that I didn't know that I had until I watched the trailer for it, and I was like, holy fucking shit, my dick is hard, and I didn't know that I even had a taste for this. It's like I found out that I was gay that day.
Gay for survival horror games.
Well, I always knew I liked them, but I
I,
was survivor horror curious.
it makes sense. Like, it's kind of a no-duh moment. Like, of course, an alien game should be survival horror, but no one ever fucking did it. They always, like, seeing that they invented the Space Marine, they're like, give them a machine gun and plow down row after row of these things.
Right.
But that, in the original movie, that thing was fucking terrifying. Like, you didn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah, and if you did, it bled acid all over you. Like,
Or it
Yeah.
ate your face with its tiny, smaller face inside its face.
yeah,
I've got a face in my face!
That eats your face. Like,
True.
that thing is not to be fucked with.
or it slashes you with its razor blade tail. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty well like the perfect killing machine. And they did make dozens of games that just had you.
Just garbage. And I bought like 3 of them.
There was one that I enjoyed. It was Alien versus Predator, and it was an RTS for a console, but they took it a different way. They did it well. They did an RTS well on a console, which
I played the
surprised me.
first-person shooter Alien vs. Predator, and that was the first time I was disappointed by an Alien game.
Yeah, well, that'll
And then
get
I
you there.
went back and played the ones on the console, and that was the second time I was disappointed by an Alien game.
All right. Anybody else have any news for today?
Yeah, just a couple little things. Cliffy B, he was formerly of Epic, I think. One of the original programmers on Unreal and kind of known for the Gears of War franchise. Recently left video games, a couple years ago, kind of saying he just needed a break, and kind of announced his return to video games with a company called Boss Key. And they're going to be making a new free-to-play sci-fi PC arena shooter codenamed at least Blue Streak. Basically saying, like, look, I'm making an Unreal Tournament kind of game. So that was
It's
kind of cool
Streets
to hear.
Ahead.
He's what?
Huh?
What did you say?
He's trying to make Streets Ahead happen.
It's a step ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be PC. I'm excited to see what he does. He makes some pretty cool games. They may be a little kind of boilerplate, but he's really good at what he does. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Gears of War was amazing, and anybody that says it wasn't is a snob. That game,
It's
when it came out for 360, was game changing. Like I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it is the reason we have every game as a fucking cover shooter.
Right.
They don't age super well if you've gone back and played them recently. That being said, either does fucking Unreal, and when that game came out, it was like, what the fuck am I playing? Like,
I beg to differ. I would play
Really?
Unreal today. Not Unreal console though. I would. I'd play Unreal on PC.
I'm talking Unreal, the Quake-like game, not Unreal Tournament.
Oh, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like that was it was kind of sandwiched between Quake and Half-Life, and was colored lighting and atmosphere was it had a lot more heart than Quake did.
Okay.
But it was a great game when I was a kid. But yeah, so it's exciting to see Cliffy be back, and he's always fun to watch. Jump on Twitter and argue with people. So welcome back, Cliff. And then after the recent news of Microsoft pulling the Kinect from all Xbox Ones, being saying that they're going to start offering them separately, offering the console without them. They recently announced that they are going to start selling them individually, geared for the PC. So they're not yet selling them for the Xbox One separately, but very similar to what they did with the original Kinect. It's being used for a lot of medical devices and R&D stuff, sensors. It's actually a really
And
cool
a
piece of tech.
nice paperweight. Can prop open a door with it.
Credit where credit's due, like the ability to be able to detect hand and thumb, the motion capture qualities of that thing from a technology point of view is super cool. And if you are a hacker or a programmer or someone who develops kind of hands-free solutions or things like that, I think this is, super neat. There was a lot of cool homebrew stuff that came out of the original Kinect. That was 100 times more interesting than any of the fucking video games that weren't made by Double Fine for that piece of hardware. So it's not really
Yeah,
video
but
game
I'm not
news.
Disney Pixar over here. Okay, I don't need this stupid thing, and they made me buy it.
Well, yeah, I mean it's kind of we've been through that before. It's kind of bullshit that they're now selling it without it after kind of standing on the roof of their building and shouting that it was necessary for the experience. But the homebrew scene for this stuff is always really neat. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what they do with the upgraded technology. It's going to run for $200, which is actually quite a bit of money.
Right.
So it actually might lend some credence to their, hey, the Xbox One is a steal at $500 if this thing is actually worth $200 worth of tech. That being said, they're not selling it to people. They're selling it to companies that's just a fucking line item on their budget sheet. So
Agreed.
fuck $200. They can buy 10 of them and then move on with their lives. So, but yeah, that's all I got for news.
All right, sweet. All right, well, that rounds us to the half an hour mark, which would officially be our shortest Pixelship podcast ever.
I have been working on a 3-part musical. I can do the first 2 acts and probably kill another 30 minutes if you want.
That I'm gonna have to pass on that, but
Right.
it is enticing. Yeah, I guess that's gonna bring us to an end. It's a rather unexciting week as far as video game news goes, and it's
Things get really quiet after E3. It's
Right.
some games are trickling out. Everyone's kind of busy. It's there's not a ton going on.
anything. So let's just talk about. Is there anything that you guys are most excited about that's still yet to come out? I guess we kind of talked about this after E3, but now that the dust has settled.
Nothing I'm chomping on the bit for. Destiny's probably the most interesting out there. I'm probably, now that off the alpha, I've kind of cooled on that a bit. I'm probably still going to wait till it comes out and make sure that it's, worth the $60 they're going to be asking for it.
What, you
As
didn't
far
want to play
as
the beta?
no, I could give 2 shits about the beta. I already know I enjoy it. Now I'm just kind of curious to see if it has enough content to be worth $60, seeing that they're already announcing expansion sets and all this other bullshit.
Well, did you see the price for these expansion sets?
It's like $120 for like the biggest one, right?
Well, no. There's going to be 2 so far that they've announced. If you want those 2, you have to fork over $34.99.
So that's for their like season pass, or that's just for those 2?
That's for those 2.
See, and that's why I'm not as excited as I used to be, because to me it's like, okay, well, if you're going to release a $60 game and you're going to tell me that without this DLC it's only 8 hours of content, then fuck no, I'm going to wait till this thing's $30, as they inevitably always are.
I'm not
Right.
waiting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, nothing's really coming out in the near future. Everyone said everything was coming out in 2015, so
Well, I
it's
mean,
Well,
we've
no,
got
there's some stuff.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
You've got Assassin's Creed Unity's coming out in October. A lot of shit's coming out in October. To
Yeah,
be honest.
Dragon Age coming out in October. Little Big Planet 3 coming out in November.
I'm a little excited for Little Big Planet 3. I might
New
pick that up.
characters, new characters.
That dog's pretty adorable.
Yeah, yeah. The
Godsuck. And then they got a guy called Toggle, and he could go big and then he could go small. I can
Like a
just
toggle.
imagine what
right, but
costumes
he can't
are going to be on him.
he can't play both in the same level, right?
No, he can. That's his name.
Yeah, it's like
Toggle.
his ability.
He
Alright.
can toggle
Okay.
between the two.
Oh, I get it. I remember what I was thinking. During the E3 presentation, when can you do it? When you're making maps, you can actually have him just be one or the other
Oh, okay.
for the map. Anyway,
And that's always the appeal of those games is I want to see kind of what people are able to do with that system. Because, like, did they make, like, driving games and fucking calculators and all this other crazy shit for Little Big Planet? Like, that's always the reason you buy that game, is you play through for the soundtrack and some weird floaty levels that get way too hard, and then just see what people are doing.
right. Other things that are coming up are going to be Skylanders Trap Team. How are you feeling about that?
No.
No?
I'm gonna buy it.
I know.
I
I
love it.
and I'll probably go over Ryan's house and play it for 15 minutes and enjoy it because they are actually really good games.
They're
I'm just
very good games.
not getting suckered into that fucking honeypot.
I've been suckered into it.
I know.
It's too late for you.
It's way too late for me.
We've been to your house. And Middle Earth Shadows of Mordor coming out in October. I'm excited about that one.
So I'm really interested. That's supposed to be a lot better than it has any business being.
Right.
So I'm keeping my eye out. Apparently that game started its life out as a Batman game. So we'll see.
Right. And then what I'm most interested about comes out October 28th, Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, I don't have an Xbox, so I'm shit out of luck for that.
I
But,
do.
It's gonna sell me the Xbox.
yeah, I
Yeah,
might have to come over and
it
play
looks
that.
amazing. There's also online co-op.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
It's a damn
up to
good
4, I
looking
do
game.
believe.
It just reminds
So,
me
like,
of
you
Jet
get
Set
it.
Radio.
I can play with you.
Reminds me of Jet Set Radio a lot. Yeah, and Jet
Yeah.
Set Radio was phenomenal.
And the Mall Zombie game. Dead,
Oh,
not Dead or
yeah,
Alive.
one of
Dead
them?
Rising.
Dead Rising. Yeah, a little bit of Dead Rising. It also reminds me of that No More Heroes or whatever it's called. Is that what it's called?
No More Heroes is a lot slower paced, I feel.
It's slower paced, but I think stylistically is what.
Man,
reminds
I
me
want
of
to play
that.
No More Heroes again. Damn you, Neil.
All right.
All right. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's going to be it. I am joined as always with Ryan Blandy.
Hey, I'm the best. Better than all the rest.
And here to even out the insanity, Ryan Hayes.
I beg to differ.
And I myself am Neil LeBeau. You guys keep on playing.